and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. Our first guest is this incredible actor known by the name of Danny Horn. He's been the incredible role of Kazran Sardick in Doctor Who: A Christmas Carol back in 2010. So I'm about to add Danny into the live now to have a chat with Danny about his incredible roles and projects that he's been in. So yeah, let's get Danny in and have a chat with Danny. Hey, Danny, how's it going?
Very good, thank you, my friend. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. Uh, First up, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to come onto my show. It's such a pleasure having you on, Danny. To people that don't know who you are, if you can give a bit of backstory about who you are and what you do, and then we'll dive right into the questions.
Um, Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, so I'm an actor and a musician, known by quite a lot of people for my role I did in Doctor Who about a decade ago. I'm very pleased to be talking to you today, doing this cheeky little interview on a, what is it, Thursday?
Yeah, awesome. So we'll dive right into the question now. So for my very first question, so you, as you mentioned, you were in Doctor Who back in 2010, and you played the phenomenal role of Kazran Sardick. What was the whole
Yeah.
experience? What was the whole experience like for you getting to play this incredible role of Kazran?
Well, mate, it was a lovely experience. I mean, it was a bit out of the blue because I just finished drama school and I wasn't expecting to sort of land such an exciting job straight away. So, um, yeah, I remember it all happened in the space of about 3 days. All of us, yeah, I had the audition, and then the next day I got the part, and then the next day I was like whizzed off to Cardiff to do a read through with everyone, sat next to Michael Gambon and Matt Smith. So it was really a surprising sort of turn of events, and kick-started my career off in a really nice way.
So on to our very next question, what was it like getting to work with the incredible Matt Smith and the incredible Catherine Jenkins?
It was amazing because I just watched the first Matt Smith Doctor Who series before I did it, and so it was like walking into a show that you've been watching when he walks over to you with the bow tie and the tweed jacket and the TARDIS is behind him. It's a very surreal moment, but he couldn't have been more lovely. And because I was 21 at the time, and he was only 26, I think, which is much younger than I am now, but he had so much responsibility on his shoulders, and he was so generous with his time, and took me under his wing and gave me tips and things like this. It was lovely, and I was very lucky to have such a nice, supportive actor to work with, because I was really nervous as well. And Catherine Jenkins, well, what was good about that is because although she was a famous opera singer, she hadn't really done any acting before, so she was as sort of apprehensive about the whole experience as I was, so we could sort of rely on each other, try and make each other feel a bit better about it. I'm getting a wave there from my friend Dempsey. Didn't realise that he would be watching.
Awesome. So on to my very next question for you, what was what was the favorite, most memorable moment or scene to shoot in the Doctor Who Christmas Carol, and why?
Well, there was quite a few memorable scenes to shoot. I mean, first of all, I got a scene in the TARDIS, so that was pretty cool, to actually be inside that set. Because most sets, when you're filming, there's might be 3 walls or 2 walls, and they're cheating the camera, so it looks like you're in a full room. The TARDIS is built 360, so no matter where the camera is, there's going to be a background. And so when you're in there as an actor, it's completely immersive. It feels like you're actually in the TARDIS. And I remember Matt even showing me how it works. He so this makes it go up. This is the time controls, and these are the directional controls. And he showed me all this. So that was pretty cool. It was pretty surreal doing all the kissing scenes at 3 a.m. by a swimming pool. That was pretty memorable. I mean,
Awesome. So on to my very next question. So what was it like getting to tell the whole story of Kazran and Abigail's story? Because that was such a phenomenal story, as I mentioned before. Like the whole chemistry between you and Kazran was played out such incredibly. What was it like getting to play that story?
I think she's going to kiss me. Yeah, I think you're right. I've never kissed anyone before. What do I do?
Well, try and be all nervous and rubbish and a bit shaky.
Why?
Because you're going to be like that anyway. You might as well make it part of the plan, then it'll feel on purpose. Off you go then.
Now? I kiss her now.
Kazran, trust me, it's this, or go to your room and design a new kind of screwdriver. Don't make my mistakes. Now, go.
Well, what was nice about that is there were three of us who kind of got to play that story, because there were two other actors playing Kazran, a young actor called Lawrence Belcher and a little-known actor called Michael Gambon, who I don't think he'd done anything else. But me and him, so with the three of us, it was our job to tell this arc from beginning to end. And so I was kind of the lucky one. I got to sort of jump in the middle. I didn't have to do the setup work, and I didn't have to do the payoff stuff at the end. I could just sort of slot in. And luckily for me, I got the kind of romantic, meaty bits to do. And yeah, it's funny, when you do these things, you're just focusing on the task at hand. And I sort of realized afterwards that Kazran and Abigail became sort of fan favorites, and people really cared about those two as a couple and did all sort of funny little videos on YouTube with cheesy pop songs on them and stuff, and it was lovely. It meant a lot to people to hear about that story.
So on to my very next question. So if you could ever come back as Kazran, because I know you've been in like Doctor Who Big Finish. If you could come back in the flesh as Kazran and tell another story of Kazran, what next would you like to see of Kazran Sardick?
Well, what's cool about the Kazran thing is they sort of hint towards the fact that they had loads of adventures that you don't see. So, I mean, anything I want, really. Maybe I would like to do more stuff with aliens. Maybe he took them to Christmas on a really weird planet full of aliens that you've never seen before. Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating because there's so many opportunities. They should do a whole spin-off show called Kazran and the Doctor, I think.
Oh yeah, I actually thought too, like, you would have played a good futuristic like Doctor in like, what if they ever get the chance to bring the Doctor back to male? I actually think you would be a terrific Doctor, by the way, in my opinion. You played.
Thank you very much for saying that, mate.
You're very welcome.
I would, yeah, I would like that. Obviously, I've always fancied being what's his evil mate called? The Master.
The Master, yes.
That would be fun. I'd probably like to have a go at that.
Oh yeah, I actually make a web series of Doctor Who, and my incredible friend named Hope, her name is. She actually plays a version of a female Master in my web series. So just a little shout out to Hope, my good friend. So on to my very next question. So you, in 2011, you were actually in this incredible series called Am I High? And you actually played the role of Vinny. What was that whole experience like for you?
That came off right, Phil. That came off the back of Doctor Who, and I remember, yeah, it was nice. It was nice to do more TV straight away, and I remember thinking, like, what can I do with this? I didn't know anything about Am I High. I didn't realize it was this hugely popular CBBC show. I did quickly because I had all these fans that would get involved. Yeah, right after Doctor Who, everything was a bit of a blur for me. I remember filming it. I remember having big glasses, and I remember working with like these 16-year-olds who were really sweet and really professional and really talented. And we got to do some cool like, Indiana Jonesy stuff. Oh yeah, and then I ended up being evil. That's right. So I'm kind of like a nerdy, basically. And I remember it's all coming back to me now. I based him a bit on Matt Smith's Doctor. I did the kind of like, hello, I'm Vinny. Did that kind of like evil posh thing. So I did that, and yeah, it's ripped off Matt Smith a little bit on that one, I think.
Awesome. So on to our very next question. So back in 2012, you have also appeared in a short mystery drama called, hope I said this right, The Catalyst, and you played the role of Alex. What was that whole experience like?
That was actually, so that came out in 2012, but we filmed it in 2010 before I even filmed Doctor Who. I did that when I was at drama school. It was a cool little short film. And I got to work. In fact, it was directed by a guy called Matt Lasasso, who directed a bunch of Doctor Who, not episodes, but trailers and stuff. He did the big trailer for the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who, where it was like flying through a bunch of stuff. I don't know if you remember it. And I did that, and then I did Doctor Who, and he said it was all down to him.
That's so cool. So on to our very next question. So in 2012, you have also been in a horror drama called The Boogeyman, and you actually played the role of Isaac. What was that whole experience like for you?
Well, Boogeyman was a very, very good film, where it went straight to the Sci-Fi Channel in America, I think, and it was really good fun. We filmed it in Bulgaria for like 7 or 8 weeks, and I got to stay in this beautiful hotel and meet all these lovely Bulgarian people and have delicious Bulgarian food and work with great actors like Eddie McClintock, who is in Warehouse 13. A lot of people who like Doctor Who also like Warehouse 13. And loads of great actors were in there, actually. It was a laugh. Yeah, it was a silly horror film. I remember we improvised a line, which right before a big shootout with the monster, the Boogeyman, I convinced Eddie McClintock, who played my dad, to say, "Let's boogie." So it was that kind of film. It wasn't exactly Hammer, but it was, it was fun.
Awesome. So on to our very next question. So in 2013, you were actually in a thriller called Scar Tissue, and you played the role of Luke. What was that whole experience like for you?
That was great. That was my first lead in a movie, and it was like a cool indie, and I got to work alongside an actor called Charity Wakefield, who's one of my very, very dear friends to this day. And Sean Dingwall was in it, who was in Doctor Who as well. He played Rose's dad. I got to chat to him about that a little bit. It was it was a really good experience. I learned a hell of a lot. Hi, Eden. Sorry, I'm seeing some people I know saying hi to me. I didn't realise that I was going to get contacted while I was doing the interview. Right, Yana? It was a great experience, and I'd love to do more independent films like that, because they don't have big Hollywood studios breathing down your neck, and you can be a bit more creative and a little bit more sort of edgy with it, I guess.
Awesome. So on to our very next question. So you're actually also a musician, singer. How did you get started into wanting to create music in the first place?
Well, I always wanted to be an actor and a musician separately. I didn't really know you could be both at the same time. I kind of learned that later, but I was always trying to figure out what I wanted to do, acting or music. And I applied for drama school and I got in, and so the acting thing just sort of happened. But the whole time I was acting, I was writing loads of songs and playing them in London bars and clubs and stuff. And then it wasn't until I actually got cast as a famous 60s band member called Ray Davis and the Kinks in a production in London called Sunny Afternoon, where I played, I had to sort of completely immerse myself in the world of music for a whole year, and that's when I realized I've got to do something with my own music. I put a band together and we started playing live, and we recorded an album called Quitting Smoking, which came out last year in lockdown.
Wow. Congratulations on that album, by the way. I haven't heard it, but I'm definitely going to go get that album now, if I can find it.
Well, you can hear it on Spotify or wherever you stream your music. It's my band is called Danny Horn and the Shared Myths. That's shared myths, not shed myths that some people think it is.
Awesome. So on to our very next question. So what does performing music mean to you, like especially in these times, like what we are all in right now? Yeah,
well, it's nothing like being in it, performing for people or being performed to. the energy of a room full of people listening or watching a play or a film or a gig. We need it as human beings. We need those shared experiences, and I just don't think it's been the same watching them online or doing sort of gigs on Instagram. Although I think that's great, I think we are desperate and we're hungry for all that to come back. We managed to do one gig in the summer in a little period over here. I'm guessing you're in Australia?
Yeah.
Good morning. In England, we had a little period in the summer where we could do a few gigs again. And that was nice to do a few to do a gig in London, and it was a little tease because then we went back into lockdown after that, and we've had to wait again. But we've got loads of plans for more gigs this summer. All being well.
That's cool. So on to the very next question. So who inspired you as a person to get into acting and singing in the first place?
I think. I like Bob Dylan an awful lot, the musician. And in a weird sort of way, he made me want to be an actor as well as a musician, because I think he's always pretending to be someone else. He's always got a character who he's hiding behind in interviews and when he performs on stage. So he was a big inspiration for me, both musically and as an actor. But with acting, I mean, I was, like a lot of people, I was... a lot of kids who went to drama school and got into acting. I was really into film, and so I was naturally very interested in Daniel Day-Lewis, and Julianne Moore is one of my favourite actors, and there's just so many. I liked the old Eddie Murphy comedy films a lot when I was growing up, and I like going to the theatre and watching. I remember when I first saw Mark Rylance on stage, that was kind of mind-blowing. Denzel Washington was a huge influence as far as his way of acting when I was a kid. But it developed and grew, really. I joined a drama group when I was a teenager because I couldn't really find anything else I was any good at. And then, suddenly I found, my reason to take up space, and it was through acting.
So on to the very next question. So what have you learned about yourself as a person, like during COVID?
That I'm really good at table tennis.
That's so cool.
We have a table tennis here, and I just decided to get really good at it. And also, what have I learned about myself? I need to go outside. I'm like a dog. I need to be walked. And so I need to go for very long walks. Ideally, one walk with someone and a second walk with someone else. Otherwise, I'll go crazy. So I need to get out of the house and be as active as possible.
Awesome. So on to the very next question. So if you could be in any TV or movie franchise, what would it be and why?
Maybe I'll be in The Sopranos, or maybe I'll say one which is still airing and see if I can sort of will it into existence. There was a show called Succession that's been on the last few years that I really liked. I would really like to be in that. When I was a little kid, I was really into superheroes, and I wanted to be Superman. I don't think I want to be Superman anymore, but if I was 4 years old and I was answering your questions, I would have said Superman, and then I would have tried to be in the new Lois and Superman thing.
Yes. Well, you never know. You could always appear in the whole Lois and Superman show on the
Yeah.
CW if they see it. Who knows?
Maybe Kazran comes up.
Yeah. By the way, have you actually seen the episode of the Doctor Who episode with the superhero, the whole Doctor Mysterio?
Yeah, because the girl in that is Charity Wakefield, who I mentioned earlier, who I did that film with. The girl who plays opposite that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did watch that one because I wanted to watch Charity in it. So they've combined those worlds already.
What did you think of that episode, by the way?
It was great. Yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought the guy who played the super... I mean, I don't remember it too clearly, but I remember Charity being great, and the guy who played the superhero character was really good as well. Hi. I love you too.
So on to the very next question. So what are the positives and negatives into the whole acting industry, and how do you get through those negatives as a person?
Well, the hardest thing about the acting industry is just there's a few things that's hard about it. You get rejected sort of 49 times out of 50, and it's not a rejection, and that's what you got to remember to think about it. You're not being rejection. It's not rejection. You just didn't get it. So someone else got it. So they got the part, and then everyone else just didn't get the part because they didn't look right, or whatever, a whole bunch of reasons. But that's hard. I think I think the best actors in the world sometimes can't stick it because they don't, they struggle to deal with that part of it. The lack of security, not always knowing when the next paycheck's going to come, is hard. Yeah, the uncertainty is either what will, if you can cope with the uncertainty, you can cope with the career, basically. And I always consider my best quality as an actor is my ability to take bad news well. So I can take, if someone rings me up and says you didn't get the part, I'm like, all right, okay, cool. What's the next one then? And I think that's, if you can do that, you can get through it.
Awesome. So on the very next question, and very last question too. So what's next for you for like the rest of 2021, like project-wise, that you would like to announce on the show?
Well, I've got a few acting things coming up, but I'm not allowed to talk about them just yet. But hopefully soon I can, and I'll talk about them on Instagram, so give me a follow if you want to hear about the updates. I'm also doing a follow-up bit of music. So I released my first album last year, and me and my band are going to go into a studio and record 2 EPs, so 2 shorter pieces of collections of songs that will kind of contrast from each other. One will be more full band and one will be more acoustic, just me on my own. And so that's what the next year has in store. Also, I've got a couple of other projects that I'm working on, but I don't want to talk about them unless I jinx them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're all good. I just want to say thank you so much, Danny, for making an appearance on my show. It's been such a pleasure having a chat with you. To people that haven't seen Danny's work, definitely go support Danny. He's such a truly phenomenal and incredible actor and musician, so definitely go check out his work. Any last final thoughts or anything that you would like to say on the show to people?
Well, just thank you anyone who tuned in, and thank you for being such a generous and friendly interviewer, and good luck to you with this project and everything else that you're doing, man. It was a treat. Thank you.